Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest tonight has appeared on Home Improvement, and he can be seen on The Drew Carey Show each Wednesday at 8:30 on ABC. Folks, please welcome a very funny comedian, Blake Clark.
Thank you, thank you. My name's Blake Clark, and I am from Georgia. Thank you very much. Born and raised in Georgia, and I fought in Vietnam. That's like being punished for the same thing twice, you know. I used to have flashbacks in Vietnam, so... You know, I kid Georgia. Georgia's strange. ATF down there, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, isn't necessarily a bureau of the federal government. It's a shopping list for a weekend. You know, you bring the alcohol, tobacco, I'll bring the firearms. So it's kind of... Not that firearms are just a southern problem. They're all over the place now. I mean, it's nuts. It's gone crazy. People shoot each other on the freeways in Los Angeles, where I live now. People shoot each other on the freeway. What happened to the finger? That was always a good program. I always liked it, you know. Guy cut you off, you give him the finger. Guys like that. Guys trade the finger on the freeway. Guy cut you off, you give him the finger. He sees that. He gives it to you. You give it to him. He gives it to you. You'd miss your exit to give that guy the finger one more time. Sure, you drove 10 miles out of your way, but you showed him. That's the important thing. People shoot each other on the freeway now. We won't do anything over gun control. This has gotten ridiculous. I mean, the NRA. See, people belong to the NRA because they can spell it. They always say the same thing. They get all up in arms when anybody wants to bring around gun control. But you never see anybody stabbing each other on the freeways. They're like, come over here, I'll stab you with a knife. They shoot each other. That's the problem. I mean, our government, they put warning tags on hair dryers. It says what? Do not use while in the shower. They don't trust us with hair dryers, but evidently high-powered automatic weapons are no problem. When's the last time some guy went into a McDonald's in Southern California and killed 19 people with a hair dryer? All right, everybody in the shower. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. See? But I always hear the same thing. These guys go, hey, second commandment to the Constitution of the United States says every American has the right to keep and bear arms. That's true, it is the Second Amendment to the Constitution. But the First Amendment is the freedom of speech, which I was exercising by saying I think there should be gun control. See, the first two amendments of the Constitution are freedom of speech and right to bear arms. You think about it, that makes good sense. Because you got a gun, you can say whatever the hell you want. People will even pretend to be interested in what you have to say when you're armed. But I always point out to my friends that bring up this thing about the Second Amendment that the Second Amendment to the Constitution was written 204 years ago, when there were 3 million Americans. 3 million, not 255 million. So I don't think our founding fathers had any idea how thin the gene pool was going to be stretched, okay? They could come back now and take a look at the people walking around armed on this continent, they'd go, oh, Ben, you got an eraser? Hey, we don't need that number 2. Not everybody should have a gun. Not everybody should have a hairdryer. Also, 4 years ago, they were talking about muskets. That was the weapon du jour, a musket. You know how it works. You pour it in the powder, you put it in the plug, you ram that, put in the ball, ram that, and you do this. You fire it on a Tuesday, by the time you reload it, it's Saturday. They weren't talking about automatic, semi-automatic, shoulder-fired, clip-fed, gas-operated weapons with a cyclic rate of fire 750 rounds a minute, a maximum effective range of 2,000 meters, a muzzle velocity of 3,300 feet per second. They were talking about muskets. The people, my point, thank you. My point being, the point being is some guy isn't going to drive his pickup truck through a cafeteria wall in Texas and go inside and kill 23 people with a musket. And if he does, well, 22 of them, we don't really need you. I mean, if you're going to sit there and wait for him to reload, you deserve a bullet. Come on. At some point, doing the pouring and the measuring and the... Get the hell out of there. Just run. Get the hell out of there. Now, I'm not saying that we ban all guns. That makes too much sense. I have a gun. I don't keep it loaded because I'm married. Hey, I ain't gonna tempt fate, okay? My wife's gonna shoot me, she's gonna load the damn gun herself, all right? I ain't doing everything for her. I went home the other day. That was my first mistake. I went home the other day. My wife says to me, she says, you wanna know what your problem is? Like there's a choice involved here. Like if I said, no, not really, but thanks for asking. She's gonna tell me what my problem is. I figured, you know, it's what it always is. I'm lazy, I scratch myself in the wrong place, I belch, I watch sports on TV. Swear to God, she says, you're not nurturing your inner child. I said, what? She said, you're not nurturing your inner child. I said, well, I don't think I have one, thank you very much. She said, yes, you do, everybody does. You have an inner child, a warrior spirit, and a feminine side. I said, well, I don't think so. She said, you're just in denial. What am I gonna say? No, I'm not. So I said, all right, I don't have this, and I'll prove it to you. I'll claim my inner child on a tax deduction. We'll see how long it takes the authorities to show up and drag my warrior butt out to jail, where I'm sure it will be explained to me in no uncertain terms by my cellmate, some 300-pound guy named Bubba, which is my feminine side. You guys have been great. Thanks for listening to me. I enjoy talking to you. Thank you.
That was great, great. Great Clark.
Thank you for having me.
Everybody. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Stick around.
Thank you.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Blake Clark. That was very funny, Blake.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you very much. You mentioned at the top of your act Georgia.
Yes.
You're from Georgia.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's okay. You can talk about it. Do you still have family back there?
Yeah. Yeah. My brother.
You who?
My brother. He lives.
Your brother?
My brother. He's a... See, there are two kind of guys in the South, good old boys and rednecks. The difference is good old boys raise livestock, rednecks get a little more involved. You know, it's like,
oh, my God.
I'm not saying my brother's like that, but he's a typical Southern guy. You know, he's got a 65-mile-an-hour bass boat.
He's got a bass boat?
A 65-mile-an-hour bass boat. Well, fish can't swim that fast, can they? I don't know. Maybe he catches them and then takes them skiing or something. I don't know. And he uses, this is what gets me, he uses lures. You ever been around fishermen? No, he's a real serious guy. He uses lures. This guy's got lures this long. You know, painted red on one side, white on the other. It's got hooks hanging all off of it. This just looks like something a fish would want to eat. You know, the fish is there, they go, oh, what was that? You see that thing look like a torpedo painted red and white with grappling hooks hanging off it. It must be going 65 miles an hour.
So is he catching a lot of fish with this thing?
No, he doesn't catch nothing.
Man, he's got you worked up.
Yeah, well, I'm just... he's a fine guy, my brother.
Yeah, he's real happy.
He has not figured out, as a lot of people on the East Coast, in the southern part of the East Coast, have not figured out that there's a difference between Los Angeles time and East Coast time. Really? They know it's 3 hours, but for some reason they think it's 3 hours later out there, right? My brother called me up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I go, hello. He goes, what are you doing? Sleeping. Well, it's 11 o'clock out there, ain't it? I go, all right, I'm going to explain to you one more time.
How this works.
For the last 3.5 billion years, the Earth has rotated toward the east. It does not change its axis of rotation when you dial my number.
But other than that, you guys are getting along fine.
Well, we get along fine as long as there's a continent between us.
Now, you know, LL's here. This brings up something. You guys worked together before.
Yeah, I was one of his guys. Hey! In a movie!
What movie were you guys in?
Toys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
He played the captain, and I was one of his soldiers.
Oh, yeah?
When they took over. Did you guys see Toys? You guys remember him from Toys? What's this?
What?
You guys remember me? Two people.
Two people.
Now we see why I'm where I am. Maybe it ain't too late to go back to Georgia and go fishing with my brother.
I don't think you can go back to him now.
No,
I think it's too late now. Well, tell us, how's the Drew Carey show going?
It's great. In fact, I go back to tomorrow. We start rehearsal for the next 3 episodes. They do like 3.5 a week, and then they do 3.5 a week. Mm-hmm. And now, everybody.
You guys
Is that what you guys do?
Yeah.
Are you off for this week?
Yeah. Not really, though.
3 and then get a week vacation?
Yeah.
Oh, you were doing a video.
Yeah.
Sorry.
just keep chatting away. So, what kind of car you got? Yeah.
Sorry.
Really, you have a standard or an automatic? I got that in standard. Yeah. That's a lot of fun. Well, that's what this show should be.
Guess I won't be back on this show.
No, you'll be back. You just can't go back to Georgia. That's the important thing. You burned a bridge there, not here.
Gee, I'll try to get over it.
All right. Well, Blake Clark, thank you very much for coming, and continued success with the show. Blake Clark, everybody. We're going to take a break. Cindy Adams is coming up. She's got stuff to talk about. Stick around. We're back. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Coming up, thank you, I love all of you. Embarrassing. Coming up tomorrow night on this show, Penelope Ann Miller is going to be with us. That'll be great. Linda McCartney is going to be here, and musical guest Ugly Kid Joe will be with us. So watch that show. It's going to be a good one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Cindy Adams is going to be here. Stick around. We'll see you in a second.